I spent thousands of dollars on my sister's wedding. I flew across the world for her. I signed every contract. I bought the gift. I took the days off work. And then, she had me turned away at the door. My name is Sarah Mitchell. And this is the story of the day I finally stopped asking for a seat at a table that was never meant for me. Stay with me because the twist at the end of this story will leave you speechless. I'm 35 years old. I live in Sydney, Australia. My entire family lives in a small town in America. The distance was hard, but I never let it break our connection. Every time someone needed help, I answered. I sent money. I rearranged my life. I was the emergency contact everyone called, but nobody truly valued. Then my younger sister Emma got engaged, and I was genuinely happy for her. A few weeks later, my mother called with what she called a small favor. The wedding vendors needed someone with strong credit to sign the contracts. My mother said I had the best credit score in the family. I trusted them completely. So I signed. The venue, the catering, the florist, the photographer. The deposits alone were thousands of dollars. The remaining balances would be due after the wedding. But I wasn't worried. This was my family. Or at least, that's what I believed. Then things started to feel wrong. Group chats went quiet when I joined. Event details reached me only by accident. My questions got short, cold answers. I told myself everyone was just busy with wedding preparations. I had already booked expensive flights, reserved a hotel, bought a thoughtful gift, used up my vacation days. And I kept telling myself, this is what you do for family. But deep down, something didn't feel right. And I should have listened to that feeling. The day of the wedding, I arrived at the venue exhausted but hopeful. The place was beautiful. Music filled the air. Guests laughed and smiled. I walked toward the entrance holding my gift, imagining the moment I'd finally feel like I belonged. And then my mother stepped directly in front of me. No hello. No hug. No, I'm so glad you made it. Just 4 words, you need to leave. When I reminded her that I was Emma's sister, that I had flown halfway around the world, she turned to another guest standing nearby and said, she's just a distant relative. Her own daughter. Standing right in front of her. And in that moment, I understood, this was never an accident. This had been planned. I placed my gift by the entrance. And I walked away. Every step back to my car felt heavy. But underneath the heartbreak, something else was growing clarity. Back at my hotel, I opened every contract I had signed. Venue, catering, florist, photographer, tens of thousands of dollars. My name, my signature, my responsibility. And then I made a decision. The next morning, I called every single vendor. Calmly, professionally. No threats. No drama. I will not be authorizing payment for this event. I was not permitted to attend. Please redirect all outstanding invoices to the hosts who benefited from this wedding. And when my family found out, that's when the real chaos began. The phone calls started immediately. Some were angry. Some were tearful. Some tried guilt. Some tried tradition. Emma finally reached out too. But her message wasn't an apology. It was about the bill. And right there, I learned something no one teaches you. An apology that only appears when someone needs something from you isn't an apology. It's just another request. Weeks passed. Then months. The truth spread through the community. The carefully maintained image my mother had built began to crack. Then something unexpected happened. My father, who had stood silent at that venue, wrote me a letter. By hand. For the first time, he said, I failed you. And staying silent that day is the greatest regret of my life. It didn't erase the past. But genuine accountability carries a weight that excuses never will. In the months that followed, I stopped trying to repair relationships that only existed when I was useful. I went to therapy. I finally understood how often I had confused sacrifice with love and how long I had accepted less than I deserved just for temporary approval. Emma and I talk now. Slowly. Honestly. For the first time, the relationship feels real, not transactional. And my mother? After 18 months of silence, she sent a handwritten letter. No dramatic confession. But something I had never seen from her before, responsibility. She admitted she had spent years caring more about appearances than relationships, and that fear had guided too many of her decisions. Looking back, that wedding wasn't the day I lost my family. It was the day I finally found myself. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not fight harder for a seat at someone else's table, but build your own and only invite people who are genuinely happy to see you there. If this story hit close to home, share it. Because somewhere out there, someone is still standing outside a closed door, wondering if they're enough. You are. You always were. Subscribe for more stories about real life, family, resilience, and the courage it takes to choose yourself.